evening, everybody, and welcome to Unpopular Reviews Smackdown review. I am the administrator, joined by the one, the only Wrestling Doll. This is actually our first night back and our first night together on our show. So this is kind of a little bit different. It's a little different. How are you feeling, Wrestling Doll, having our first night back here, first night on the show? What's going on?
Well, I'm doing good. I enjoyed SmackDown tonight. Couple matches here and there. Not my favorites, but overall I enjoyed it.
Okay. So speaking of SmackDown, let's just get right into SmackDown. SmackDown tonight started the 2021 draft. And if you guys caught us yesterday, we did our mock draft. So tonight's episode started with the draft. So I'm just going to go over the first round of picks selected by Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, overall number one draft pick. This is a shoo-in for any brand, but SmackDown secured him. The Tribal Chief, the reigning defending Universal Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns is SmackDown locked number one overall. Number two is Raw's pick, which was the current WWE Heavyweight Champion Big E, without the New Day. The number three and the first female overall draft pick, Charlotte Flair, the Raw Women's Champion, was drafted to SmackDown. And finally, Raw selected a surprise, in my opinion, but Bianca Belair is going to Monday Night Raw starting on October the 22nd. That is the day after Crown Jewel. So the actual SmackDown started with Roman Reigns coming to the ring with Paul Heyman. Comes out. Roman is incredible at this point, walking to the ring, just the little nuances between him and Paul. Like we talk about it all the time. He has the crowd literally on lock the entire time, from his walkout to having Paul hand him his Universal title. Every single little thing he does, it's amazing. He gets to the ring, gets in the ring, and says, "We are the ones because I'm number one," acknowledging the fact that he is the number one draft pick. He literally then says, "Acknowledge me." And everybody starts cheering. And I guess they started cheering the wrong ways because he hands the mic off to Paul. And Paul goes, "Hey, this is not loud enough for your Tribal Chief." And he starts talking. You know, Paul's doing Paul things. Paul is Paul Heymaning, as they say. And afterwards, Brock Lesnar's name is mentioned by Paul Heyman because he said that Roman Reigns is going to smash Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. Brock's music hits. Brock walks out in a flannel shirt with the sleeves cut off, looking like he ate two Brock Lesnar's, walks down to the ring, walks right into Roman's face, and starts jaw-jacking with the reigning defending Universal Champion, and they start to brawl. It seems like Roman is going to get a little better of Brock, but Brock turns it around, couple suplexes, Roman rolls out of the ring, the Usos come out, they get suplexes. It's just a big hysteria. At the end of the day, Brock is staring down Roman. Roman's like, "Do not F5 my cousins." F5's Jimmy. Said, "Don't touch Jay." F5 Jay. So we clearly know after this segment who Roman's favorite cousin is. But the segment ends with Roman walking up the rampway, looking back at Paul Heyman like, "You son of a bitch, why did you do that?" So, Wrestling Doll, after a very long introduction to SmackDown, what did you think about the first round of the drafts and also the opening segment of the night?
Well, I enjoyed the drafts. I was enjoyed that a couple of our picks really did get selected to go on there. I did call out Bianca, even though she went to the other roster, but I seem to have a knack for it so far. And the segment with Roman, it was good. I was surprised to hear a lot more cheering for him. I heard some booing here and there, but I was surprised to hear the cheering. And then when Brock Lesnar comes out and then basically takes every single one of them to Suplex City, population, the bloodline, minus Paul Heyman because he didn't get one. It was very entertaining nonetheless.
I'm going to say this. There was a line from Paul Heyman, and he calls Roman Reigns the suplexerist. He calls him a suplexerist. So he's basically said he exercised the demon Finn Balor at Extreme Rules, and he's going to suplex, whatever he said. It was such an amazing line, and Paul is so great on the mic. I literally just enjoyed this segment from top to bottom. Then the biggest surprise is we actually had Friday, the newest member of Friday Night SmackDown. That is the queen herself, Charlotte Flair, who I saw on Instagram. Her Instagram post, and I want to read it for you guys. It said, uh, wait. Doesn't matter if it's red or blue, it all turns to gold. And obviously, wherever Charlotte Flair goes, she has gold around her waist from NXT to Raw to SmackDown. She's done it all, 14-time world champion. And I just love her. I literally wrote in my notes, I love her. There's nothing more to say. She was backstage with Kayla Braxton, and she's telling Kayla, doesn't matter where I'm at. Wherever I'm at is the A show. And I agree, because now we have the tribal chief and the queen on the same brand again. So how do you feel about Charlotte Flair coming over from Raw to SmackDown? How does that
I called it. I called it.
I mean, I think this is the happiest I've ever been. But how
I
do
was
you
like,
feel?
hell yes. My pick got called. I was like, yes. Even though, like I said, I don't care for her. I knew she was going to get brought over.
Okay,
it was only a matter of time.
What do you think they're going to do with the Raw and SmackDown championships? Do you think that they're going to just switch like they did the New Day and the Street Profits once upon a time, where they just switched, hand off the championships, the Raw Women's Champion hands off the title to the SmackDown Women's Champion, and so on and so forth? So we could just, is that going to be that, or are they going to lose their belts at Crown Jewel? How do you think that's going to work?
I don't think they'll just have them switch the belts, knowing like their history and the rivalry and such. Maybe they'll do like a match to determine winner gets all kind of thing. Maybe.
Well,
maybe it'll become a 2-title.
Maybe. All right, that's good.
That'll be more interesting.
I'm looking for a certain someone who's supposed to do a segment, but I don't see him in the back, so we're just gonna keep going. The next segment, or the next match, was KO versus Happy Corbin. Now, one executive consultant is a huge fan of Happy Corbin, extremely huge fan of Happy Corbin. Loves him to death. Loves him when he was King Corbin. Loves him when he was Baron Corbin. Just loves Corbin. And Corbin is honestly starting to grow on me. He has one of the most protected finishers in the game right now with the End of Days. The Deep Six is such a great transitional signature in and of itself. So I really enjoy King Corbin's stuff. I think that them pairing him with Mad Cat. What is
Mad Cat Moss? I don't know.
Riddick Moss is now Mad Cat Moss, and he's laughing like a freaking Cheshire cat. It's appealing in a sense, but this match basically consisted of Kevin Owens trying to literally maim Happy Corbin, and Mad Cat Moss cheating essentially to give Happy Corbin the win. So, what did you think of this match? What did you think of it?
Besides the fact that Happy Corbin's newest associate is his certified paid up yes man, that annoys the hell out of me. I don't like Corbin at all in any way, shape, or form. I want a Kevin Owens win. I'm a Kevin Owens fan. But it did what it needed to do. Although I wasn't happy with that. I just wanted Kevin Owens to get one over him after all the bull crap he's got put through for the last few weeks.
Got you. Let's get to some of these chats real quick before we take a commercial break. So James says, I can't believe AJ and Sheamus weren't drafted on night one. That actually was a big surprise. It definitely was. I definitely really 2 or 3 rather, if you including Omos, really great omissions for the first night of the draft. But obviously, like Raw needs to have a really good show, so they're probably, because they're the longest show, going to have more drafts within that one show, seeing that it's 3 hours. Elvis says, you forgot to draft Bayley last night.
No. Team Raw drafted Bayley at number 6.
Yep.
Nobody forgot. The executive consultant picked Bayley as 6. So nobody forgot Bayley.
Definitely didn't forget Bayley. James also says that Edge being drafted to Raw was a huge shock. They never drafted a part-timer before. I could be wrong. I think that Edge is a different type of part-timer. I think that he's, like he said this before, like he wants to be on the road. He definitely wants to make this run a significant one, and in terms of just him being in programs and not being one of those part-timers like Brock Lesnar, who we literally name dropped as just coming in, getting a payday, and then leaving again. All right, let's see. Won't work. I'm going to say that both Becky and Charlotte Flair switched titles. Very interesting point. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Elvis says Friday nights will now be called Friday Night Raw, and it will be the red brand, and Monday nights will now be called Monday Night Smackdown, the blue brand. You're an idiot. Thank you so much for this comment. All right, so now we're going to take a quick commercial break before we come back. And continue discussing SmackDown for tonight. So, Mr. Wizard, take us to commercial break, please. Chris, commercial break. Commercial break.
I feel like it's this third brand. It can be this great thing if you allow it to be great. That's how I feel.
It was great. They were putting on bangers for weeks, and everyone said that they were mid. And then half the people who were in there, who they said were mid, showed up a few days ago, and now they're not mid.
Oh,
I'm just saying. You guys are talking Matt. Let me not get into it, but you guys are fake, and that's just that. Not anyone who has logical sense, you're not fake. So it's not about you. If the shoe doesn't fit, don't try and put it on.
no, that's not good for the toes. Don't do that. It's really bad. Like I did that one time, and it was uncomfortable. You ever wore shoes and it just didn't fit your feet? It's awful. Don't do that.
Yep.
Only people
and content. The fans decided they wanted to watch a shiny new toy and shit. Let me tell you.
Willie, no one can hear you. No one can hear you. What's going on with your mic? This is about to make me steaming. What is going on with your mic, bro? Can't hear you. No, I don't know what you're saying. Exactly.
What makes the administrator steaming is when Willie Beeman's mic doesn't work. Guys, you are watching Unpopular Review. We're having a bit of technical difficulties right now.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if he's ready.
Player, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Does that mean you can fucking hear me? Hello? Yo. What's going on, man? This your man Steaming Willie Beeman, and I'm coming to you with this week's What Makes Beeman Steaming. First thing that made Beeman steaming this week. Well, no, I'm just going to talk about SmackDown. I'm not even going to go on Raw because just Raw is garbage now. But anyway, I'm talking about SmackDown. First thing that made Beeman steaming this week, we got to see Brock hit Roman with some weak-ass suplexes. And then we already knew that, Jay was his favorite cousin. But see it verbalized, that shit made Beeman steaming. Second thing that made Beeman steaming is about SmackDown. Bianca Belair getting drafted to Raw. And Charlotte coming to SmackDown. What they gonna do? Like, they gonna have them switch the titles, or is it gonna be a winner takes all match, or is it gonna be like? And I stole that from Barbara. I did. Sure did. But I wanted to see Becky go back to Raw, and like I know we got her and Charlotte all over, but Becky was the hottest thing, like on Raw, and Charlotte, she proved she was a better superstar than Charlotte, even though Charlotte's nepotism got her. I think she's like a 14-time champion now already. Like, that's a bunch of bullshit. But that's the third thing that made Beeman steaming. Seeing how many fucking times Charlotte had the belt. That fucking sucks. Fourth thing that made Beeman steaming this week. New Day. Like, I think they need to change their gimmick. I mean, I get it. They gone to Raw, so them and Big E back together. They've been pushing it. I stole that from the executive asshole too. I did. But yeah, I'm ready for a New Day change. Fifth thing that made Beamer steaming about this edition of SmackDown, the way it ended, with Charlotte coming to the ring after and holding the belt, and then looking at Becky when, like, the same thing with Roman and Brock right now. Like, Brock was kicking Roman ass, just like Becky was kicking Charlotte's ass. And even the fans, like, was chanting during most of Charlotte matches, we want Becky. One of the reasons Becky came back early, not just because of CM Punk, but whatever. I wish they would have, like, started another feud up or something with them again, but it didn't happen. And that's the fifth and final thing that made Beamer steaming this week about SmackDown. Well, we're about to get back to the regular hosts, Stefan and Barbara. Come on in, baby.
Mike, so when I heard that, I said, oh no. And I don't know why, dude. So, like, I pulled references. I'm sorry, I pulled pop culture references. But Team
the
Taz
wrestling
remind me
dog. I
of
fucked her name all the way upside down.
the Super Friends from the 1960 and the Legion of Doom. They always had a plan, and the shit never went their way. Like, the guys they didn't even have the fucking Joker. They had the Riddler. Who the fuck picks the Riddler over the Joker? So I already knew this team was a failure. So you have these guys, and you know, Taz gets the mic. He says, "Don't you mention Team Taz? Don't you mention him?" Even CM Punk had to say, "I didn't even mention him."
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about, Taz?
Yeah, I had to say it. I bust out laughing. I said, hashtag fire Taz. I get it now. Like, before I was like, okay, I get it, whatever. But he's like the fucking Legion of Doom. And you don't want to be them. That's all. Taz is all.
Oh my God.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Unpopular Reviews. I am the Mr. Spaniella, joined by the Rusting Doll. Guys, if you guys like what you're seeing, please like, love, share to all your wrestling fan pages, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We definitely need more subscribers. So we are going to go over draft round number 2. Are you ready, Wrestling Doll?
Born ready.
You're born ready. All right, cool. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So the first pick of the second round of the draft for SmackDown was Drew McIntyre.
Who you picked, you called.
We literally said this yesterday. Drew McIntyre is a shoo-in to verse off against Roman Reigns. Said it on Monday. No matter where I go, I'm going after a world title. Were they going to put him in for the WWE Championship again against Big E? Probably not. But Roman Reigns is more logical because they have such a dueling history that it makes the most sense for him to be one of the top people that could take that belt off of Roman. The next pick, and I have to applaud the executive consultant for this pick. RK Bro in their entirety.
I mean, realistically, they weren't going to break them up now.
Huh?
Realistically, they weren't going to break them up now.
I mean,
not with how good they're doing.
They couldn't break them up now, but at the same time, how do you feel about just the team being drafted to Raw instead of coming down to SmackDown? What do you think about that? Do you think they're good for Raw?
It wouldn't have been a bad thing if they came down to SmackDown, but they're doing real good in Raw right now, so why mess with a good thing?
Duly noted. Then the next draft pick that SmackDown picked was the New Day without Big E, obviously. So Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods will be on Friday nights as of October the 22nd. How are we feeling about New Day?
Love me some New Day, and you did say New Day.
I'm loving New Day too. I'm loving New Day too. I'm loving the fact that New Day got drafted. I feel like the draft kind of worked out yesterday did because Chris picked Big E and we picked the New Day themselves, so that's pretty cool. And the final pick, which was predicted from yesterday on both sides, the Rated R Superstar was the final draft pick of the second round of draft picks.
So executive consultant gets a point for that.
Exactly. Like, Edge is going straight to Monday Night Raw. And that brings us to our well, actually not yet, but Edge, I want to talk a little bit about Edge. Do you think at this point, seeing that he has a feud going on with Seth Rollins, do you think that it was the right time to move him from SmackDown to Raw? or do you think they're going to finish that feud at Crown Jewel?
They might finish it at Crown Jewel. They're going to hype it up until then, and they'll probably have like one last thing and then give Seth someone new to feud with and then give Edge someone new to feud with. So that's what I think. That's how it seems to go.
So it seems to go. I like it. So we have a backstage segment with the aforementioned Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is in the back talking about how excited he is about the past, the present, and the future. How his past didn't exactly work out when he came to SmackDown and he was the chosen one. How his present, he's a former, WWE champion, and he's finally going to be on SmackDown again and try to kind of come full circle. And then the future is the Universal title. Once again, he threatened somebody's life by raising his Claymore straight at the camera ahead of him. Can we please explain to me why we're condoning murder? Can we please somebody on this show explain?
He's pointing the sword in a way saying, "I'm coming for the title." He's not pointing the sword in the way saying, "I'm going to come for your head." Okay.
And said, "I'm a."
He's not the Red Queen of Alice in Wonderland.
This is basically equivalent to what he said. I'm gonna flip the table over. I'm gonna take out you and your cousins, and I'm coming for your chip, bro. And that literally points 8. Come on, Russell Doll. You got here.
Okay, that's because he points the Claymore. Doesn't mean he's actually gonna be skill about it and use it.
Shanky and Veer, okay, you got the Claymore swung at their heads. All right, like
that was their fault. They brought that on themselves. They brought that on themselves.
George says Drew is coming for that Universal Championship. He definitely is coming for that Universal Championship. The next segment is Edge is back. Obviously, you guys, I was in New York. I live in New York, but I was at Madison Square Garden about 3 weeks ago where Edge was taken out by Seth Rollins during a match, and when Rollins curb stomped him, brought him back extremely early for this draft. But Edge came back to respond to Seth Rollins, who has basically been talking so much shit over the last 3 weeks. It's been amazing how much shit he's been talking. And last week, Seth Rollins came out, said, "Hey, you're going to come out, you're going to drag your ass out here. You're going to say that I'm not Edge Light, that I am better than you in every conceivable way, and that I am the one that ended your career." And obviously, we all knew Edge was not coming out to say that shit. Let's just be real. Rosendahl, did you think for a second Edge was going to come out and admit that Seth Rollins was better than him? It's for a second.
Well, I would have had to check to see if hell froze over outside before that happened. So no, I did not think Edge was going to say any of that BS.
No. So this segment got a little iffy. Like Seth Rollins pulled an Edge, and
and then he said he's not Edge Light.
Exactly. So he pulled an Edge. During Edge and John Cena's feud, Edge went to John Cena's father's home and slapped the hell out of him. So Seth Rollins shows up to Edge's family home in Canada and literally walks into the door, goes into the man's fridge, takes some orange juice, takes an apple, sits on his couch, sits on his furniture, talking the most amount of shit about his family. Your daughters are not artists. They're not able to draw, all this other stuff. And he's just like, Edge is panicking. Edge was in the ring talking the most and ran out of the ring. And at the end of the segment, it just, I don't know why this was a miss for me. I don't know why this itself was a miss for me. Like the whole Seth Rollins invading Edge's house. I don't know why it wasn't. Like, I would have wanted to see something else.
Maybe Edge coming in and attacking him?
Not even Edge. I mean, Beth Phoenix is a professional wrestler as well. So yeah, I think that even that aesthetic may have been a little bit more like, oh my God, this is like something I could really look at, as opposed to just, I'm gonna be in your house. I'm gonna sit on your favorite chair. I'm gonna talk about how cool your house is. I'm gonna talk about how shitty your daughter's drawings are. I'm gonna eat your apple. I'm gonna drink out of your orange juice. Like I think it was that. You know what I mean? I needed a little bit more from Seth Rollins. I don't need just the drip god. I need you to do something devious. You know what I'm saying? So when he didn't do that, I was a little disappointed. But how did you feel about the segment overall? Plus Edge backstage calling Beth Phoenix and saying, I'm going to get Jimmy, Tommy, Anthony, and them to go to the house, go to your brother's house. How did you feel about the entire thing?
The only thing I was thinking is, what the hell is taking Edge so long to go over there and attack him for invading his house? That's what I was thinking. That's the only thing I was thinking. That's how bored I was.
I mean, I think the man's on a whole other country. I mean, it would have showed if this man just leaped and bound. Let me get to some of these comments. Real quick, George says, I'm sold. I'm not sold on Hit Row being on SmackDown. I don't think that's a good idea. We're gonna get to Hit Row. So Dark Sage 9117 says, I have a question for this panel.
Ask away.
Ask away. We are ready, willing, and able to answer your questions. See what I did there? All right. Elvis said Seth was speaking facts about Edge's kids.
Bye, Elvis. You do not speak badly on anybody's kids. That is crossing a line.
Thank you so much.
And once you cross that line, you get the point of no return.
I appreciate you. All right. George says the segment between Edge and Seth Rollins was okay. It felt a little
Pretty
flat.
much.
It was okay. It wasn't anything to sing home about. The next match was Liv Morgan versus Carmelo.
That wasn't a match. That was just Carmelo getting revenge.
Yeah, it was 50-50 booking at its best. If you want to make Liv look strong going into the draft, at least have her win over Carmelo, but you didn't, and she ended up looking stupid. So great job on...
No. Actually, the only one who looked stupid was Carmelo with that ridiculous face mask that she had. It was like Sheamus's face mask gone wrong, and it's not even a protective kind because it was all just sequin.
Okay, nah. I'm gonna say this, right? Nah.
Of course you will.
Nah. It was stupid. It made it look stupid. All right. So Dark Sage 9117 asked, I am curious if WWE would have or even attempt to have Roman Reigns break Brock Lesnar's 689-day reign as Universal Champion. Currently, Roman is near the 400-day mark as champion, and it seems to me fans are still on his side and still love his character. I admit I want this to happen, but I also understand if WWE did this, fans would eventually turn on Roman. This is one of those moments I wish the executive consultant was here because we know how Rusting Doll feels about Roman Reigns. I'm going to try to do this question justice. I think anytime the WWE finds themselves pushing somebody and giving them a super push in terms of a lengthy reign, like let's look at Walter, for instance, like let's CM Punk, let's look at Brock Lesnar. You know, they can put the entire machine behind them and they can give them a lengthier reign. The reigns used to last like 5, 6, 7 years back in the day. So when WWE wants, they do give people lengthy reigns. Is the work Roman doing worth a lengthy reign? Hell yes. Is there anybody that I could see moving forward beating him? No. Not Jeff Hardy, not Brock Lesnar, who can do whatever the hell he wants, which means right after he is finished taking an L to Roman, he can go right over to Raw and win the WWE Championship if he wants to from Big E. There's just so many people that are going to step up to Roman and lose. Do I think they want to book the match Roman Reigns versus The Rock at some point for that championship? Certainly do. Does that match have appeal without a championship? Of course it does. But I think that they want him to have some longevity as a champion. 400 days is not enough, I think, for Roman. I think giving him past that Brock Lesnar mark might just be it. But that's just my opinion. They could take the belt off him. He could lose it at Crown Jewel. We never know. That's how these things work. Dark Sage also asked, I was wondering as a fan, is that something you folks would want to see, or is it something they would never attempt to do? I feel like I just answered that. I'd like to see it. Rusting Doll, would you like to see Roman have a 600 and something day reign?
I mean, I feel like that's what we're basically going to see anyways, whether I like it or not. So it's going to be like
your opinion. Come on, your opinion.
I have an opinion. I just don't really care too much for Roman. I'm not going to trash him tonight. I really don't feel like it.
Damn, it's fine. It's the first time we're on Friday Night Smackdown. Trash him on our show. You trash him on every other show. You can trash him on Friday nights.
You mean you want me to trash how much I don't like Roman Reigns and how much I think that his title should be given to someone else?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, I don't like Roman Reigns as the champion. I'm getting bored and I want to see it go to somebody else.
I appreciate that. Who would you book to win the championship?
Let's see. Maybe Brock Lesnar could take it and try to stop him from beating his record. That would be an interesting twist to it.
So Brock,
maybe Drew to try to attempt to take it since he couldn't take the title away from Lashley before, to try to take it away from Roman.
I like it. Drew or Brock. Good picks. All right, another comment. George says Carmelo is going to Raw and Liv is staying on SmackDown. I can see that. I definitely can see that, George. I want to.
Yeah, because their little thing is getting boring. I'm getting bored.
Right. Also, George says Bayley had the longest SmackDown Women's Championship reign as well. Definitely did.
Yes.
Elvis says we forgot to talk about the clothes Seth was wearing. Drip God. I think Drip God implies that his clothes were good. I just didn't want to emphasize on his clothes during a shitty segment. Why would I want to?
He looked like a mob man from like the 70s.
Oh my God. Elvis says Jeff Hardy versus Roman. So Jeff Hardy can take another L in his career. Good job, my guy.
Yeah, good idea, Elvis.
Great job, Elvis. So the next match was New Day and the Street Profits versus the Dirty Dogs and the Alpha Academy. This was a great competitive match. All these teams are incredible. And the New Day, the New Day, I should say, are actually the ones that secured the W for the faces. What did you think of this match?
I enjoyed this match. It was funny because I had forgotten if Dolph Ziggler was like still like active because I hadn't seen him for a bit. And if I knew he was, I actually would have put him in our picks. If you had an issue with that and almost had an aneurysm with that one.
I feel like Jeff was picked. I feel like we did pick Jeff.
I'm talking about Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, Dolphin? Nah. Dolph can sit on the side. Yeah,
I don't mind Dolph Ziggler.
I mind Dolph Ziggler. I feel like he can sit on the sidelines and just sit there and just relax, just cool off.
I mean, I like this. I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to the match. I pay attention to what they put on him. I like what they do with his hair. Sometimes, like they had the rainbow braids. I appreciated that. You
the same energy as Elvis. You out here talking about drip guys and drip kings and whatnot.
Hey, it's just one person, but he does do good in the ring.
Seth Rollins is good in the ring as well. So we're gonna move on to round 4 of the draft pick. The first overall SmackDown pick for round 4 was Naomi, which was so. I love this pick, and I love it for a lot of reasons. I love it because just Sonya Deville and her, like I am anticipating a match between the two of them, and it gets Sonya Deville back in the ring. It gets Naomi back in the ring, but you could honestly see Naomi is under Sonya's skin, and Sonya's abusing her power. And Sonya is also just like literally just like tired of hearing about Naomi. I love it. I love it. What did you feel about Naomi being drafted to SmackDown?
That I've been saying it since day one, since she's been back. I want to see her get in that ring. I want to see her kick some ass, and I would love to see her kick Sonya's ass for all of that. And I want to see Sonya back in the ring. Definitely. It's something that I'm looking forward to.
Definitely. The second pick, which obviously I want to see these two people split up so badly, but they refuse to split up because the dad is so controlling that he wants his son right under his arm.
Called by the executive consultant.
Exactly. The next pick from Raw is Rey Mysterio and Dominic Guerrero. Yes, I said Dominic Guerrero. Not Mysterio at all. The next pick is actually a pick that we've discussed literally in length. Obviously, Jeff Hardy, who we drafted to SmackDown yesterday, was drafted to SmackDown tonight. So we did a good job. We did a good thing. And this was for Raw, their final pick of round 4 was a very interesting pick. When you look at NXT and you see the way, they're just so good at what they do. And I feel like it's the dynamic that exists between Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano that makes the way so special.
Yeah, it's like literally a family.
It is. But
that's their whole thing.
But family no more, because Austin Theory is making his way to Monday Night Raw. So Austin Theory, Mr.
I was very surprised to see that.
Mr. All Day is officially a Monday Night Raw superstar. Like, I couldn't believe. I feel like I marked out for that moment because I just was so surprised.
As was I.
That they did that. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like I was so surprised. I had to go back because I realized I did miss one of the draft. I don't know if I called it, but I missed one round. So we went 4, but we missed 3. So I'm going to go back in time a little bit because that Carmelo crap threw me off. The 3rd round, SmackDown had to at least have one horrible pick tonight. And they picked Happy Corbin and Madcap.
Thank you for someone who doesn't like Corbin either. I can't stand him. I hate him.
I think it's just a bad pick overall. You have so many others. You have Sheamus, you have AJ Styles and Omos. You could have picked anybody, but you kept Happy freaking Corbin. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. The Red Brand selects the women's tag champions, the reigning defending women's tag champion. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash are staying
So
on
now the
Monday Night
executive
Raw.
consultant gets to see his favorite whenever he wants on Mondays.
Exactly. And
I knew they weren't going to split them up.
I'm gonna just say this. This was a really big one. And last night, if you guys watched our draft pick, this team was not selected by us. This was a big L for us. But Hit Row got called up from NXT to the main roster. Hit Row has not been a thing for very long. They just started. They were feuding with Legado del Fantasma. I feel like they all need a little bit more seasoning. I feel like even if you brought just one person up, I would pick
Swerve out of all of them.
Swerve is ready. Swerve is ready to be a champion. He's ready to be NXT champion. He's ready to be, IC champion. He's just ready. But if you called up all of them, I don't know. Right? Tell me how you feel about this. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I'm not big on Hit Row. I mean, Swerve is the only one that I would have picked to gone up to either SmackDown or Raw because he's actually ready. I feel like the rest of them needed more time, especially BFAB. She needs a lot more time.
Right.
She's only been in that ring two times?
As my brother Anthony says all the time, you right. You right. So definitely needs more time, more seasoning. There's a few green people on that team, but we'll see what they do with them on SmackDown. Hopefully they're as prominent as they were on NXT. So congratulations to them. And the last pick for Raw is a pick that actually Team Raw selected yesterday in Keith Bearcat Lee. Amazing pick. Keith Lee is a heavyweight that moves like a cruiserweight. Literally the things that man does in the ring,
I saw him live. I've seen the way he moves in the ring.
Amazing professional wrestler. Amazing.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was with someone named Chico Adams.
Chico Adams.
I think that's who it was. It was a dark match.
It was a dark match.
One of those 205 live matches.
Yeah. Damn. Okay, so I'm gonna get to some of these comments real quick. So George says, which means Kevin Owens is going to Raw because he versus Happy Corbin, probably more than likely. Mike says, I hope that Becky Lynch loses the SmackDown Women's Championship to Sasha Banks because I miss having Sasha Banks as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Debatable. I'm just gonna say it's debatable. George says, like I said, Hit Row should not be on the main roster yet. BFAB, she's going to flounder, and Top Dollar and Adonis are going to flounder as well.
That's his name. I can never remember what his name is.
Good opinion. I like these opinions. So, before I go on, I want to say Mike said I am excited about the return of Sasha Banks. I'm excited about it because of what it means for whatever brand she goes to. So hopefully, if she's on, I don't know what brand she's going to. We ultimately don't know. So we got to kind of wait. So then there's this backstage segment. This had to be my favorite backstage segments of the night. They were dueling backstage segments. So the segment started off with Jeff Hardy. He just got drafted. Kayla's behind, doing an interview, about to interview him. So the mic underneath his nose. And in comes Brock Lesnar and just looks at Jeff. Jeff goes from going like this to going like peace out. Yo, I'm hauling ass. Like, I'm not going to stay here and let Brock press me or nothing. Then Brock politely asks, hey, Kayla, you doing a backstage interview or something? Like, I'm sorry. Takes the mic and says, I want to make a public service announcement. I am a free agent because of my friend, Paul Heyman. I love this. I love talking Brock Lesnar. I love the aesthetic that he brings to this face character because when Brock really doesn't give a shit, you see it. But when Brock really gives a fuck, he goes for it. So how did you
And
feel
he
about
went
this
for it.
segment? How did you feel about just Brock pressing one of your favorites and just saying, I want no parts of that problem? Like, and just fucking off. Like, how did you feel about it?
That I loved it, like I said while you were talking about it, especially when he said, "My good friend Paul Heyman." The first thing I thought when he said that was, "Oh, Paul's in trouble with the bloodline again."
And you're definitely right. He was in trouble with the bloodline. That brings us into our next segment, which was Roman Reigns sitting with the bloodline and Paul Heyman, with Paul Heyman looking shook because they all watched this at an awkward angle on a TV screen.
He looked like he was about to cry.
And Roman looks at Paul and says, "Hey, yo, Paul, are you my friend?" He said, "You're my tribal chief." He said, "If you're my friend, you protect me. You protect my family. Why the hell is Brock Lesnar a free agent? And why haven't my cousins been drafted to Smackdown?" He's like, "Yo, it's part of a larger plan. It's part of a larger plan. Don't worry about it. I'm the wise man. I got this." He's like, "You know I'm the wise man." Roman looks at his cousin. He's like, "He's telling me he's the wise man." And he yells,
Oh,
"I'm the wise, you the wise man when I tell you you're the wise man." See, I feel like you liked Roman in that moment. Do you see you liked him a little bit in that moment?
Yes.
That line was so killer. And you looked at him and he said, "All right, so you're gonna go to Monday Night Raw. What you're gonna do is you're gonna ensure that my cousins are drafted to SmackDown." And then he was like, "All right, okay, my tribal chief." And Roman gave him a sarcastic look, like, "Yeah." Then he looked at his cousins. He said, "Yo, y'all gonna go with him. And if y'all not drafted to SmackDown, y'all got my permission to leave him for dead on Monday Night Raw." I saw a physical death threat and heard a verbal one on SmackDown from one Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Okay.
Okay, look. Here's the difference between Drew and Roman's. Drew just pointed his sword. That does not mean he was threatening to kill nobody, okay?
We're not doing
Roman
that.
actually spoke of literal death threat and basically said, just leave him for dead. So Roman gave an actual death threat. Drew did not give one. Just because you point the sword doesn't mean I'm coming for your head. He's not the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland. He's not going off with nobody's head there. Roman might. Drew isn't yet.
I like the analogy. So our main event of the night is a WrestleMania rematch. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks with big time Bex on commentary. The match was fire. Let me just start off by giving it its highs, giving it its flowers.
I mean, they won an SP for a reason.
Exactly. This match was fire. Given the fact that Bianca is leaving SmackDown in the next few weeks, I feel like this was an amazing, if this was her last match on the SmackDown brand, which it probably is not, this is an amazing send-off. It was. And I really enjoyed watching these two in the ring. I loved Becky on commentary. There was this part where Becky was talking to Michael Cole and she just goes, "Michael!" And she's like, she just is so funny. Like, we don't give Becky enough credit for being a fantastic heel. Just because her heel character started, we don't give her enough credit. And maybe talking to Stone Cold, talking to some of the greats, just push their character in the opposite direction. But I just really love what they're doing. I feel like this was a lackluster finish because it was a screwy finish. Bianca clearly lost due to roll-up. And to end the entire segment, Charlotte comes out and drops everybody except for Becky. And then SmackDown ends with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair standing. One Charlotte's in the ring. Becky Lynch is on the commentary table. And they're just staring each other down to end SmackDown. What are your thoughts on the end of SmackDown? Obviously, the match and just the ending portion of SmackDown.
Well, this was a match I've been looking forward to since the first WrestleMania that they did it at, because that match was the match that brought me into watching WWE matches in the first place. So I was looking forward to seeing it at SummerSlam. And when I couldn't see it at SummerSlam, I was upset, but having to be able to see it again made me happy. The finish, I wasn't too keen on because, like you said, it was a shoddy when I was like, oh, great, Becky's going to interfere, hold Bianca's hair, so then Sasha wins, blah, 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 blah. And then out of nowhere, I wasn't expecting it. I should have. Charlotte comes in and attacks everybody in the ring, stands tall like, I'm the champion, so look at me. And then looks over at Becky, be like, I'm coming for your belt. And then Becky does the same thing.
Definitely. I would say that tonight's SmackDown was amazing. I loved it from top to bottom. I like how they integrated the draft actually had an important feel to it tonight. I loved the aesthetic of the draft. I loved how important Sonya Deville and the other guy, I forget his
Adam
name.
Pierce.
Adam Pierce, thank you so much. They made it seem so important, and not just make it seem so important. It came off as very integral to how Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are going to be moving forward, especially with the implications of NXT being involved in the draft, which is really great. Obviously we got 2 NXT call-ups this draft, and we know Monday Night Raw, they're going to have more segments. They're going to have even more segments based on the draft itself. So now I would like to ask you, what would you grade SmackDown? If you
Compared to how it's been the last couple of weeks, I'd give this one an A.
George agrees with you. He said, I want to give SmackDown a solid A, and I will agree as well. SmackDown was definitely an A. I feel like it had a lot more high points than low points, and the low point, I'm sorry to say, it was Liv Morgan versus Carmelo for me. I just did not understand why that was even on the show. That could have been on the pre-show of something, kickoff show of something. You could have given her 50-50 booking at Crown Jewel if you wanted, but I didn't feel like it had a place on this show. The show was just like so stacked and just so well done, except for that one match. And
I guess it was kind of like their filler match of the night, I guess.
Yeah, you could have filled that with the IC champion being on the show. Our IC champion has been missing. I don't know if we got to put him on the back of a freaking milk carton, but our IC champion is missing. Rick Boogs is missing. Okay, I don't understand where the hell our IC champion is, but other than that, I think it was a solid show. So before we go home, I want to just look at some of these comments. So Anthony says, panel, are you going to strip Charlotte of the Raw Women's Championship and Becky of the SmackDown Women's Championship? Or they just going to switch colors because that's stupid if they do that? We are not Adam Pierce, nor are we Sonya Deville. So we're not
in charge of
anybody. But I get what you mean. I see your swag, Ant. So what I'm going to say is, personally for me, and I don't know if Wrestling Doll shares this opinion, I think the best thing would be for one of them to lose their championships. I would say have Charlotte lose hers and just come over to SmackDown without it. I think that she can afford to. And especially if you're keeping Becky Lynch on SmackDown, which we'll find out on Monday if she's transitioning to Raw, because it would make no sense because she just came back. For them to switch her out as soon as she comes back in, I don't find a point to that. But Wrestling Doll, how do you feel about that? Do you think that they should just trade titles, or somebody should lose their chip?
I agreed with everything you said, especially when you said that they should strip Charlotte of her title. Because I don't want her to keep going for her father's stupid record. It's so annoying.
I'm sorry.
She's already 12 times. How many more does she need? She does need to be 16. 12 is good enough.
She's 14.
They said 12 on TV, okay? They took away like 5 of her titles because they said it didn't count.
She's the queen. She's like
the queens can be dethroned, okay?
I'm biased here, okay? I'm clearly biased, and I acknowledge
it's our opinions. Of course, we're biased.
I'm biased. Seriously, when it comes to Charlotte Flair, I don't care. I feel like I don't care. I love her so much.
You love her. I can't stand her. Even though
I know.
I
know. You picked her for me, so thank you, Wrestling Doll, for being such a great.
I picked it to be realistic because I knew they were going to move. They were going to do something with her. Yeah. They already had her go after everybody on Raw. So how many more did they need? How many more were they going to do for her?
I appreciate it.
That's why they had to put her on SmackDown.
Definitely. Well, y'all, as you know, UPR, we are a multi-branded show. We do have a sister show known as UPR Entertainment. So I'm going to do some plugging for you guys and see if I get this right. So before I plug anything, if you guys like what you're seeing, please like, love, and share to all your wrestling fan pages. Also subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Guys, we have a whole list of shows throughout the week that I'm going to go over right now if I can find it. The struggle is real right now. This man said he reset everything. Guys, just give me the executive asshole, as Willie so lovingly calls him, was supposed to reset a lot of stuff for us here in the back end, and that did not, apparently. So Monday night starts off with Around the Block with Mike Knox at 6 p.m. on Mondays. This is for the intelligent wrestling fan, guys. You don't want to miss it. Mike is amazing. Then after Monday Night Raw, The executive consultant, Patrick the Full Nelson, Ultimate Fan, will bring to you Raw results and review show every single Monday after Monday Night Raw. Tuesday nights are NXT Tuesdays with Captain Shakespeare and also our very own Bad Guy Jack. But Bad Guy Jack is on vacation this week, even though he popped in today. So the executive consultant will be pulling double duty this week and also being on NXT. Also on Tuesday, we have our first UPRE movie in the 8 movies of horror series, and that is the Skeleton Key reviews and reactions by our sister team in UPRE. Wednesday, Big Daddy Cool, and if the technician can ever make it, it'll be technician and Big Daddy Cool for AEW review. The Mark Victor Rodriguez and my guy, the bad guy, will be on What If. That's also on Wednesdays. Then we have the challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. Captain Shakespeare and Mike Knox will take over this show. Thursday, we will be reviewing the most horrifyingly scary movie. I don't know why I selected it. Us, featuring the talented Lupita Nyong'o. That is this coming Thursday. So if you want to watch me be creeped out an entire episode of UPRE, definitely tune in to that. Friday nights, immediately following Smackdown, it is myself, the administrator, Stefan Yo, and the Wrestling Doll for Friday Night Smackdown. And on Saturdays, we have Captain Shakespeare and In Cat We Trust, Katrina, giving you Dark Side of the Ring reviews for every episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Now, that is all that we do throughout a week. There are also review shows or prediction shows depending on what we do. We just had a prediction show, guys. If you have our YouTube, please get on YouTube. You can go and back watch our draft shows and some of our other content as well. We really do work hard to put on some amazing shows for you all. So before we end, Wrestling Doll, do you have anything to say to these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fans of ours before we leave?
Well, I just want to say thank you all for giving us your time and listening to what we will have to say and what we think about tonight and hearing from someone else's point of view. And I can't wait to see you all, to talk to you all again next Friday. All
right, ladies and gentlemen, for the Wrestling Doll, for myself, the administrator, for the executive consultant who was here earlier, for Stephen Willie Beeman, we would like to thank you for joining us and tell you have a great night.